Exciting, Chris, because we could see a little bit of history today. Can Josh Ross become just the second man to win the gift from scratch?
Well, he's got the pedigree to do that, and his heat on Saturday was sensational. He ran 12:44 and he looked very, very comfortable, and he is a really class athlete. And a lot of people have come here to see him do that.
He really was able to switch off, and the crowd stood and applauded him on Saturday. Will they be doing it later on Easter Monday afternoon? But if they are to do that, he's got some formidable opposition.
Well, the chaps out in front, Versace and Robinson, have run fastest time up, and they've got fastest time up by 2 metres. So they've got to go out. Ross has got to go out and catch them.
Well, I mentioned that it is an iconic event. It's a very different event because it's a handicap race. It's run on grass. To tell us more, here's Ian Cohen. Ian, welcome.
Thanks very much, Peter, and indeed good afternoon, everyone. And where I am is where the stall gift can be won and lost. At the start here. In amateur athletics, everyone lines up across one line. In pro running, of course, you have what are called marks, and you can see the marks on the ground there. They go back in 25-centre increments, and we're going all the way back the 3 metres, the 2 metres, the 1 metres, and the man you spoke about, Joshua Ross, he will be leaving from this point right here, 120 metres. He'll be wearing red, and he'll be trying to win his second Australia Post stall gift when he heads off down the track for a slice of history.
Thanks, Ian. This event has been going for 127 years now. W.J. Millard was the first winner. He was prolific both on and off the track. Not only was he a gift winner, he was the father of 20 children. And this race has provided us with some magnificent moments in the 127 years since.
To go. McLeod's coming up, but I couldn't pick it.
It's Proudlock who's going to the line, and Proudlock the upset winner.
But then back to Graham McNeil, Dynan in front. It's Dynan Stallgift. He gets to Mueller, and McNeil wins.
Hunt coming through with Sadler, Tui just in front. Oh, Hunt's made a big dive at him. I think Jason Hunt has probably just got there, and he has, the 21-year-old.
Stall Victoria, home of the world's richest foot race, attracts more than 18,000 people.
Stall, Easter and foot racing have become an intrinsic part of the Australian psyche. Etched into our history, born out of a meeting in the basement of a shop in Main Street back in 1877. The total purse for the gift back then, £24, with £20 going to the winner. Just before the turn of the 20th century, the race was moved to its now iconic home, Central Park. And it was through these gates that pro runners from around the globe sought greatness, with nothing more than a dream and a pair of spikes. It's a race steeped in tradition, with generations of runners taking part. W.J. or Bill Millard, the father of 20 children, found time to take out the inaugural gift in 1878, while his great-grandson Daniel took the title over a century later in 1997. And while the fashions may have changed, the intrigue, mystery and romance of the event have not. John Tolman is a man who hasn't missed a gift in 52 years. He's been a runner, trainer, promoter and fan throughout his amazing unbroken half-century of Easter visits. He knows how tough it can be to beat the best.
The thing that's special about the stall gift is we've got no idea who's going to win it. A lot of people think they do, but it's when you put the money on, it's whether the people can carry the money, whether they can handle the pressure of that.
The stall gift is a mecca for pro runners, and once drawn in by its simple charm, it's hard to refuse. For canny Scotsman George McNeil, it took 9 visits to the fabled grass track before he could claim the ultimate prize.
George was the most relaxed I've ever seen him. He knew he had a big chance, and when he stood up on the dais and sang Flower of Scotland, it's one of the best moments I've ever seen at stall.
In 1975, it was a man who most simply call Ravello, who managed to do what runners had been trying to do for nearly a century, when he became the first and only athlete so far to take the gift from scratch. Can former winner Josh Ross emulate the feats of the man from Madagascar?
The fact that he's running off scratch just goes to show you how big a certainty he was off from running from 7 metres. If anyone was going to win from scratch, I hope it's him.
And Ross is the boss.
Now on Easter Monday, history beckons once again. Who will join the greats and win this year's stall gift?
And will Ross be the boss once again? The 24-year-old Novocastrian looking to become just the second man to win from scratch. What a great day in front of us here at Central Park. The Australia Post Stall Gift semi-finals, 6 of them. We've also had the Stall Goldmine Duathlon, the ASICS Bill McManus 400 metres for men's, the Lorraine Donnan women's 400 metres final, the SEN 2-lapper, the Express Post 120 metres invitational for the disabled athletes, the backmarkers, the Pure Blonde 120 invitational, all leading up to the big one at around 3:15, the Australia Post Stall Gift for 2005. Let's see what the bookmakers are doing as we head to Ian Cohen in the betting ring.
Thanks very much, Peter. Indeed, there's plenty of business being done here. We've got Brian Marantelli, who's conducting a bit. There's some money going on to Sousa there. You can see that one, Brian. Can we just grab you for a moment? Let's have a look at the semi-finals. How do you see it unfolding?
First semi-final is even money or even chances between Ross, winner, and Henkin. The second semi-final, De Sousa looks the winner. He's long odds on favourite. The popular choice, or popular with the punters, is Sadler. Third semi is only 2 chances. Tui at long odds on, and Zenua the danger. I believe myself that Zenua can beat him. The fourth semi-final, we've got Hignett and Brown. They're equal chances. The fifth semi-final, Versace the favourite, looks the winner. And the last one, Robinson's a long odds on favourite.
Thanks very much, Brian Marantelli there joining us in the betting ring. It certainly is busy here, Peter.
It will be throughout the day, Ian Cohen, and there'll be plenty of money wagered down there. In just a moment, we will be back to see Joshua Ross attempt to make his second Australia Post Stall Gift final in the first of the semis. To replicate the feat of Jean-Louis Ravello Manansoa back in 1975. The hardest for him to beat are going to be Daniel Burgess from Blue, who is back from 10s into favourite at the call of the card, and Richard Hankin from Newcastle in yellow.
Well, this is what everyone's come to see, whether Josh Ross can make himself into the 2005 Stall Gift, and he is a class athlete. He's won the Australian 100 metre title twice. He's run 10-12 this year at a 2004 Olympian. He's done it all. Can he do it today?
Looking to become the third man to win 2, the second man to win 2 in a row, the second man to win from scratch. He's that far back.
Get on your mark.
Look at him there on the left of your picture. So Burgess in blue and Hankin in yellow, probably the men to catch. Can the 2003 winner get into the final again?
Set!
Ross got a pretty good start. Also Hankin and Burgess well away. It's Burgess going to be the one to beat. Ross is coming through hard. Peters and Burkhardt giving them something to catch. It's going to be a blanket finish, but he'll get there, and he'll get there easily in the end. Josh Ross bolts away and is in the final and earns a crack at history.
Well, what a brilliant run. He had them covered at 100 metres and just coasted to the line. And when we see the replay, you'll see that this man is pure class. Got the head-on shot, and you'll probably even see him in the red. He'll just start to switch off, the hands start to drop, and that's just a training run for Josh Ross. What a brilliant run.
Just what he wanted to. Didn't have to overexert himself. It's going to boost his confidence even further. You couldn't win more impressively than that.
No, that's sent the bookies scampering for their pencils now, but he's into a Stall Gift final, and that was just a brilliant run. It'll be interesting to see what the time is, Peter.
We'll get that in a moment. He says, I've obviously gained 7 metres since I won in 2003, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. So can he become just the second man to win from scratch in a couple of hours' time? Let's go down to Ian Cohen with the brilliant Josh Ross.
Joshua, you are now one step closer to history. How does it feel?
Feels great. That run was just beautiful. Felt great. Start was strong. Finish was strong. Very happy with it.
When did you switch off? When did you mentally know that you were into the final?
Maybe 10 out. I could sort of feel that I was in front, so try and save a bit of petrol for the final.
And what will you be doing now just to keep the butterflies at bay before the final of the Australia Post Stall Gift?
Just relax, mate. Talk to my coach, light massage, and get ready to repeat the same run.
Congratulations, terrific run, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, the good thing is he knows all about pressure. He'll be able to handle the pressure of the situation. It was a brilliant run from Josh Ross in 12:34. Well, that is well inside even time. David Flowers in second spot. Burgess finished up getting third, but really it was only one man we were talking about, Hankin, probably the disappointment.
Yes, well, I think Richard got caught up in the excitement at the start and got lost in the first 20, but I think Ross had them covered at 60. He said that he switched off at the 110, but he was in control for a long, long way.
Well, that thrilled the big crowd here. It's a beautiful day at Central Park. It does get a little cool at various parts of this track, but you couldn't wish for a better day. And I think some of these people coming here today, Chris, with a sense that they might be seeing something very special. They might see it here, you know, because Greg Sadler is on his umpteenth visit to Stawell. He's attempting to get through to his fifth final. He comes off 0.5 of a metre. Duncan Tippins off 5.5, the 30-year-old. Adrian Mott of Essendon, a lifeguard, just 19 years of age, off 6 metres. Jared Marr, finalist last year, 5th in 12:30. He was 6th in 2001, 5th in 2002. Isolde Souza is the man they're all talking about from 6.75 metres, competing in his first gift. Aidan Jeans from Perth off 7.5, and Paul Tancredi, the 23-year-old, is the outmarker off 9 metres.
Well, Greg Sadler came through the repechage on Saturday, Peter. He ran a very, very ordinary heat, but he found nearly 4 metres in his repechage and was flying.
And he had a bit of a word to say to the starter after his heat too. He wasn't happy, and it seemed to make him angry. But what a great farewell it would be for him if he could make it through to another final. It's probably hard to see him winning the gift. He seems to have had his chances, but to make a 5th final would be just quite extraordinary.
All clear runners. Well, he's such a crowd favourite, and when he won his repechage, the crowd went up just like what they did for Josh Ross, and he went high five all around the track. So he's a very, very popular character here, and for him to make the final again will be just an unbelievable effort.
Now, what can you tell us about the man in green? Isolde Souza, 29 years of age. One thing I can tell you is that originally he comes from Sao Tome and Principe, which is the smallest island country in Africa. The other thing I can tell you is he's got an 8-week-old daughter, so he's not getting much sleep at the moment, and he might be causing the bookies a few sleepless nights too.
Well, he was very impressive on Saturday, and he ran 12:34 in his heat, and he actually stopped about 1 metre past the line. He was going that well. Trained by Ken Anderson over in Essendon. He hasn't done much running at all, but either amateur or professional, but he was very impressive, very solid athlete, and he will go very well. Nicknamed Izzy.
When you're brought to set position, you'll be held till every runner is firmly settled.
Murray McPherson, the starter. Paul Tancredi in black on the right of your picture. Greg Sadler on 0.5 of a metre.
Walk your blocks.
The 30-year-old giving away starts of up to 8.5. Can he make it through to his 5th final?
Get on your marks.
In what will be his farewell appearance at Stawell. De Souza making them wait, taking a long time to go down on the blocks. He might be inexperienced, but he's got all the tricks. De Souza in green, the man to catch.
Set!
Away now, De Souza off to a reasonable start. Tancredi began well. Now De Souza's going. Sadler starting to stretch out. De Souza at halfway, looks to have them. He's clear of Marr and Mott, and De Souza wins decisively at the end. Sadler finished up in 4th place. Do you reckon he's happy? Isolde Souza is through to the Stawell gift final, convincingly, decisively, whatever way you want to put it.
Well, he won it like the favourite in that semi-final should, and he is a very, very happy man. He is jumping around, and look, I think he's going to be a big show because he's big and strong, and he ran away from in the last 40, 50 metres. Start
wasn't great, took a while to accelerate.
No, that's probably just being inexperienced because he hasn't done a lot of running, but he ran like he was going to run another 200 metres. He took off, as you said, Peter. He was a little bit all over the place early, but he's got a big open stride, and unfortunately Greg Sadler, as well as he has run, hasn't been able to catch him, and he's run that by at least probably 2 metres and comfortably as well.
So Sadler bids farewell to Stawell. We may see him later in the back markers in 4th place, but what a competitor he's been. But that man was very happy. I think there might be a few dollars on him. We'll find out, because here is our winner with Ian Cohen.
Thanks very much, Peter. There was money going in the betting ring for Iswell de Souza. And Iswell, congratulations on the run. How are you approaching the final?
I feel good. I feel like I can go faster. And it's my first time here, and I'm surprised. You know, I don't think there's a lot of people that come here for the first time and make the final. It was just nice and easy for me. The final will be, you know, run as fast as I can. And whatever happens, happens. I'm just happy to make the final. That's about it, really.
Thanks very much. And obviously he's looking forward to getting through to the final. The second man in already, de Souza.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ian Cohen, and confirmation of the result, Iswell de Souza 12.35. So remember that Josh Ross ran 12.34 off scratch in the first of the semi-finals. Mott second, Ma, the perennial visitor here to Stawell, third, and Greg Sadler finished up in 4th placing in semi-final number 2. So to the third of the semi-finals, and another very talented athlete here off the back mark, the former Nigerian, now a resident of Sydney, Ambrose Ezenwa, who was the national 200-metre champion last year. He's won the back markers here 3 times, and he said he was inspired by Josh Ross's run on Saturday. Well, he certainly would have been inspired by it just a few minutes ago. James Reynolds, the 22-year-old from Sydney in white. Chris Toohey, who has beaten an eyelash in last year's final in blue from 6.25 metres. Clint Youlden, runner-up to Jaron Pearce in 2000 in the final from Wandong. He's in yellow. Evan King, who was a finalist here in 2004, runner-up in the gift in 97 to Daniel Millard. He's in green. Simon Crichton, semi-finalist last year, tore a hamstring in the semis last year. He's in pink. And Dylan Minster from Mentone, the 30-year-old cheese importer, runner-up in 1996, is in black.
So there's some real class in this field. Chris Toohey, as you say, was beaten by an eyelash, and I remember him looking across on the line and couldn't believe that Jason Hunter just got him on the line. He was very impressive on Saturday.
Interesting, Chris, last year he talked the talk, almost walked the walk. He was very cocky last year. He's been a lot more low-key.
And I think that that's going to be hold him in good stead, Peter. Last year he was talking the talk, and unfortunately you've got to do the business when the business counts. This year he's been very quiet. He was very, very quick out of the blocks. But Ezenwa, I thought he was one of the pick of the runs on the weekend. He looked very, very comfortable. He ran 12.39, which was just as quick as Ross did. And he strolled through, did a bit of strolling in the last 20 metres.
I wonder whether it's going to be a disadvantage, though, when you've got Toohey, Youlden, King, all within 1.25 metres of each other. They're all going to be racing each other, and he's going to be in his own little world for the first half of the race.
And that's right, Peter. He's a quality athlete, so he'll be running down that tunnel and he'll just run in his lane and pick them up. And these guys in the middle of the pack, as you said, they've just got to tune out and run their race. Don't get caught up in it.
Get on your marks.
Dylan Minster, the outmarker in black. There's the start Ambrose Ezenwa is giving away. The breeze is coming from their right to left, so it probably helps Ezenwa. Although being back that far, he doesn't get much comfort.
Set!
Toohey's start pretty good. Youlden got away okay. Ezenwa was flying out. Minster giving them something to chase. Reynolds, the white, coming through. Now Toohey starting to stretch out. Here comes Ezenwa. Toohey hits the front. Ezenwa dives. I think Toohey might have just held on to beat Ezenwa and Reynolds. It's very tight, though, in semi-final number 3.
Well, I think Toohey might have got there again by an eyelash, so he's pretty used to the winning the close ones. But James Reynolds ran a sensational race. He got run out in the fastest heat and also the fastest repechage, so he's right up there. He's going to be over well for his 400, but halfway Toohey hasn't got past Youlden yet, and that's not a good sign. Reynolds is trying to get him, but here comes Ezenwa, and I just don't think he doesn't quite get there. And great run by Toohey. He's into another Stawell Gift final, Peter.
Yes, looking to make amends for his runner-up placing last year in 12.08. He was beaten 0.01 of a second, and he was 5th in the final in 2003. We're just standing by for confirmation of the placings, as are the athletes. It is a very tight one, but we fancy that Chris Toohey may have just got there from the lunging Ambrose Ezenwa, and the Sydney side of James Reynolds, the 22-year-old, running a big race off 5.75 metres after the third of the semi-finals.
Gee, it must be a little bit closer than what we thought it was going to be, because they still haven't decided. Usually they're very quick here. So it must be a little bit closer than we thought.
Anxious moments for Chris Toohey. And how would it be if he was bloused by 0.01 of a second again?
Well, I think that he'll probably take up lawn bowls next year.
Still waiting. The crowd still hushed. The result hasn't gone up as yet after the third of the semi-finals. The runners are going up to their blocks for the start of the fourth of the semi-finals.
I noticed that Zenmaier has sort of moved away from the... So he doesn't feel that confident.
And here it is in replay from the low angle. Maybe a little deceptive. Toohey definitely had him there. Zenmaier's put in a terrific lunge on the line.
I think there's a bit too much blue.
The blue has got there. Chris Toohey has got there by a millimetre. Gee, that would have been an anxious minute or so for him. I think he's down there now with Ian Cohen, so we can find out how long that minute was for Ian.
Peter, it certainly was a long minute for Chris Toohey, who was beaten by an eyelash in the final last year. And Chris, what will you be doing differently to make sure you're not beaten in this final?
Run my guts out. That's all I've got to do. Bit of a slow semi, but, you know, don't know what the wind was like, so pretty confident. You know, I'm there again, 3 in a row. Very happy.
Chris Toohey is the third man through to the final of the Australia Post Stall Gift.
So we're halfway there. 3 are in the final, 3 more to come. And there is the result. Chris Toohey officially in 12.53 makes it through to his third successive Australia Post Stall Gift final, the fourth semi after the break. Tim Hollands has been here a few times before, 3-time semi-finalist. He's in red. Thomas Scott, the 19-year-old from Newcastle, in white. Craig Brown from Tullamarine, 6.75 metres, former Bay Sheffield winner, in blue. Sam Jamieson of Williamstown, just 18 years of age. Mark Hignett from Sydney is the favourite from 8 metres, the 30-year-old, 4 times a semi-finalist here. Matthew Callard from Hoppers Crossing, 8.25 metres. And Peter Beams, whose dad ran 4th in the gift in 1961, is the outmarker from 10 metres.
Well, there's this Peter Beams. Well, he's got the fastest in the 200. So, look, I think he's going to be a bit of an outsider in this. And from Hignett, who got through in the repechage and ran a sensational repechage heat. And Craig Brown. Well, Craig's won the Bay Sheffield and Burnie. And so he's a very well-performed athlete, knows what it takes to win.
Mark Hignett, an odd job man known as Skippy.
Get on your mark.
Ran 12.27 in his repechage. Shem Hollands back on 3.75 metres. Hignett, the man to catch in green. Beams will give them something to chase. 4th semi-final of the Australia Post Stall Gift. Off they go. Hignett got a fly. He's straight out after Beams already. Jamieson and Brown are coming through. Hignett at halfway, look to have control. He's got them safely held. Hignett's going to go on and win it by a couple of metres. Second, probably Jamieson or Brown, but he was never really in doubt. After a flying start, Mark Hignett, the 30-year-old, is through to the gift final.
Well, the odd job man did the job then. He flew out of the blocks. He put a lot of pressure on Beams out in black, and he's got a great start. Craig Brown in blue can't quite get up onside him, and he's won that easily, probably 2 metres, and very happy man. And to think that he ran 3rd in his heat on Saturday, nearly didn't get through.
Yeah, and that is the style of a winner. Time's going to be interesting, but he certainly had a little bit left at the end. So Mark Hignett of Sydney, the 30-year-old, goes through to the final from 8 metres. He's going to be out near the front. The Australian Junior Beat Sprint champion of 1988. Let's go and see what Skippy's got to say. Here he is with Ian Cohen.
Thanks very much, Peter. Mark, you've made the semi-finals 4 times here. Now you're through to the final. What does stall mean to you?
It's a dream come true. Since getting snotted here last year by Evan King, I've been training for it all year. For this moment right now, 1 run to go. I'm ready.
What about that run there? Tell us about that particular semi.
Oh, the heat when I got rolled by Craig Brown, lazy. The stablemates gave me a kick up the bum, and that was just aggressive. An aggressive runner, that's the only way I can win. I've got little legs. I've got to get him going.
Mark Hignett is the fourth man through to the Australia Post Stall Gift final.
And those little legs carried him to a very good time into a headwind of -1 metre per second. 12.29 Mark Hignett. The quickest time so far. Craig Brown second in 12.42. Sam Jamieson third in 12.44. And Shem Hollins ran his usual honest race in fourth place. So we come to the fifth of the semi-finals. There's a scratching here, unfortunately, and that is Mark Ladbroke, the former Olympian who is the strength and conditioning coach of the ACT Brumbies. Unfortunately, after having $20 on himself at 100 to 1 on Friday night, he won't be with us, so that's unfortunate. But the runners who are remaining, Shane McKenzie of Adelaide is going to be the backmarker here. And there he is, just coming from the right of your picture to put the blocks down on the 5 metre mark. Keith Shee, originally from Ireland, will come out of white. That's Shane Izzard in pink out there. Shane Izzard in black, I should say. And Luke Versace from Camberwell is the man who had plenty of people talking. So there's the start list. McKenzie, Shee, Hoffman, Ladbroke is scratching. Chris Hutton's an interesting runner, all the way from Scotland, only got to Australia a week ago. Luke Versace, probably the outright favourite, 12.21, quickest of the heats. His time was bettered in the repechage. Shane Izzard from black out on 10 metres. Now, normally, Chris, if you're carrying the name Versace, all you have to do is walk 10 metres, pout, look disappointed, turn around, go back from where you came from. He's got to run 120 and do it quickly.
Yes, and he was sensational in his heat. Versace and Robinson, they're the two fastest times up, and he ran very, very well and very strong. Big, strong bloke, and it looked like he could not only run through the tape, but run through the fence and through the pie stand at the back as well. He has an interesting history. Like 2 years ago, he had a running with the bulls, and he was gored by a bull. So he has a very large hole in I think it's his left leg. So the fact that he can come from running at the bulls to running at Stall.
Yeah, it's actually in 2002 at Pamplona. He was gored. He was one of 3 people who were required to have surgery after Pamplona, and it was to his right calf. He's a self-confessed bad boy. That's Keith Shee we're looking at the moment, the 21-year-old originally from Ireland. And there's the track. It's slightly uphill all the way to the finish. But Luke Versace said the support from his parents has been terrific. Phil and Rhonda, they're here in the crowd today as they were on Saturday. There he is in pink. Luke Versace of Camberwell, 22 years of age.
Walk your blocks.
Ryan Hoffman, 12.52 in his heats. Spends 3 months of the year in the United States.
Get on your mark.
Murray McPherson calls them down for the start. 1 heat 13. Will it be lucky? 1 from the left. Luke Versace in pink.
Set!
Versace got off to a fair start only. Izzard beat him out and the green. Hutton's up to him. He's going to make Versace stretch, coming through the blue. Hoffman finishing off. Now Versace hits the afterburners. Away he goes and wins easily from either Izzard or McKenzie. Few anxious moments early, but he came through without a problem.
Well, he's got himself through in a Stall Gift final, but look, with his hand on his head, I think he realises it wasn't his best run. He was all over the place at the start. Chris Hutton from Scotland is very quick early, but put a bit of space on him. But once he's got up and balanced, he started to run okay. But I think that Luke would be a little bit disappointed with that. But he's powered away from that field, and he's won it by, well, a country mile, really. But he didn't win it like a Stall Gift winner, I didn't think, Peter.
No, but the good thing is, Chris, that maybe the bad run is out of the way in the semi-finals. And the thing is, he's already there. He can improve. He'll need to improve because, as you said, his shoulders were all over the place in the first 15 metres. So Luke Versace gets through. Time's going to be interesting. Ian Cohen, let's find out from the man himself, Luke Versace, the winner of the 5th semi-final.
Peter, Luke joins us now. And Luke, if I can just have your attention, did you think that was your best run?
Really difficult for me to tell, matey. I'm stoked. I'm in the final of the Stall Gift. That was the best run I've ever had.
It was a 12.51. There has been faster times. How do you see your approach going to the final?
Take it 1 race at a time in the Stall Gift final. I couldn't be happier, bud. I'm overwhelmed right now. just making the finals the biggest thrill of my career. Like, I can retire happy on this, but I got one race to give everything I got. I can't wait.
Luke Versace very happy to be the 5th man through to the final of the Australia Post Stall Gift.
Well, interesting comments there from Luke Versace. A lot of people thinking that he was the great white hope. He's run 12.51, not quick, and by the sound of it, he's just happy to be there. And I wonder what his attitude is going to be like over the next hour and a half or so. Shane Izzard second, Shane McKenzie third. Chris Hutton ran a bold race in the middle stages, but just ran out of puff, probably that long plane ride.
Yes, well, that'll get you every time, and probably a little bit of heat as well. So, Luke Versace, what a great attitude, though, Peter. He didn't run a particularly great race, but he's into a Stall Gift final, and that's good luck to him.
And there is one more place up for grabs. We'll be back with
to go. He spent 8 days in a Spanish hospital. His brother then flew over, and he was an outpatient for another 6 weeks on crutches. He says that the scar and the wound actually affects his starting, but it certainly didn't prevent him getting through to the final of the Australia Post Stall Gift. But gored by a bull, that's a pretty good story.
Well, he'll want to pretend that he's got some bulls running with him today so that he can cover that 120 metres as quickly as possible. Maybe one of these men will prove a danger. Mark Ormrod, the member of the silver medal team at the 4x400 at the Athens Olympics, is the backmarker on 5 metres. Arthur Muzalengas are scratching. Robert Vidler from 6.75 metres. Harry Egan, the young man, 18 years of age, from 7 metres. Brett Robinson, now he ran 12.19, so he was actually the quickest man here on Saturday. That was in the repechage after he was beaten by Luke Versace in his heat. Peter O'Dwyer, 38 years of age, off 9 metres, and Andrew Mullen, 30 years of age, off 10.
Well, I think that's what we're going to be interested to see, because Versace beat Robinson in his heat, and so it'll be interesting to see whether Robinson can actually come down and post a really sensational time.
Now, can you tell me, we don't know much about Robert Vidler because it's only his second professional run. Vidler or Vidler?
Vidler.
Vidler, OK.
And I think there would be a lot of pro judges who would have said, oh, why did you let him go?
Get on your mark.
Because he ran very well.
Well, let's see. He's the man in blue. Muzalenga is scratching. Ormrod, the back marker. Talented athlete, 400-metre athlete. He'll be hitting the line harder than anyone. Robinson, though, is the man to catch in green.
Set!
Robinson's start pretty good. He's already coming up to O'Dwyer and Mullen. Vedler coming through. Robinson's taken over. Battling back hard, O'Dwyer, but Robinson's going to have just too many guns, and he wins convincingly at the end. The blue, the yellow and the pink, Vedler, Egan and O'Dwyer all in a line for second, but Robinson really untroubled at the end.
Yes, he got a good start, got up alongside Peter O'Dwyer, and Peter O'Dwyer is a very talented athlete. He's been around for a long time, but you can see in the replay in the green that he's got up alongside Peter O'Dwyer in the pink. Ormrod in the red hasn't been able to get in touch, but Robinson just starts to move away now and wins by about a couple of metres, but I don't think the time's going to be there, Peter. But again, he's going to be into a Stall Gift final, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Yes, we'll have the time in just a moment. And we'll be checking in with our winner, Brett Robinson. Third successive semi-final now. He is the last man through to the Australia Post Stall Gift final.
Peter, Brett Robinson actually got beaten in his heat by Luke Versace. He had to come through the repechages, and Brett, it's been worthwhile.
Absolutely. I mean, drawing Luke in that repechage wasn't part of Plan A, and I didn't really want to run that fast, but it was a good wake-up call, I think, and now mine's really on the job, and I can't wait for the final now.
It was a 12.38. You're a beach sprint champion. What's the grass like?
It's not too bad. I mean, obviously it's not as soft, but I don't really care. I'm just here to try and win the Stall Gift, so see what happens.
Brett is the last man through, so all places are filled, Peter, for the final of the Australia Post Stall Gift.
And let's confirm that result after semi-final number 6. Brett Robinson, the 25-year-old from 8.5 metres, the winner in 12.38. So, Chris, as we look at the result there, normally by this stage we've got one who is an absolute standout, but this year it's a really even final.
Well, you've got Hignett in high 20s, and then you go back to Ross, Robinson. They're all running around 12.30, mid 12.30s. So it's going to be very, very close. And then I think Versace will be out there. I think that he, as you said, Peter, he's had his bad run. I think he'll come through.
Well, one of the more unique events at the Australia Post Stall Gift Carnival is the Stawell Gold Mine Golden Gift Duathlon.